You're watching ESPN's Rivalry Week, presented by Wendy's.
Welcome to Gainesville, Florida, an Exact Tech Arena where these Florida Gators are ready to prove that they are among the nation's best. Thick in an SEC race, they take the floor at their new arena in front of the Rowdy Reptiles and another sellout at the O-Dome. Welcome to the SEC on ESPN. Tom Hart alongside Carol Lawson, and his Florida team's ranked number 17 in the country, but a tall task in front of them. The size and power of Texas A&M's post offense will be a challenge for the Gators today. And so who are these Gators? Only 5 losses in the season. They're aiming for another SEC title. They've won 8 in their great history, and they are in the thick of a monster race. Ranked teams all, Florida, Kentucky, and South Carolina, share the top spot in the league with 9 wins against 2 losses. And a week ago, Florida with perhaps its biggest win of the year, knocking off Kentucky. The Mike White era has gotten off to a wonderful start. He's in his 2nd season as the Florida head man. And now let's take a look at his starting lineup.
Casey Hill, the senior point guard, playing the best basketball of his career, lightning in transition. Kayvon Allen, the shooting guard, Florida Gators leading scorer. He's got elite athleticism. Devin Robinson is a player I think that's their most important guy. If he battles on the boards, it takes this team to a different level. Justin Leon, the power forward, the lefty. You'll see him come down and take some trail 3-point shots. And then the big fella in the middle, John Egbunu, brings the muscle, brings the size to this Florida Gator group. It's not just their starting 5, though, Tom. They have a deep team.
They have won 5 in a row, and they've done it in dominating fashion. Their offense leading to their defense, and on this win streak, they're outscoring their opponents by 28 points a game. Folks, those are SEC opponents and a Final Four team from a year ago in Oklahoma. The signature victory a week ago. Number 8 Kentucky came to town, and they were demolished in every aspect, held to a season-low 66 points. It was the worst loss for a top 10 Kentucky team in a quarter century. And the Gators got tremendous production, but Kara, most coaches react like that when they have to face this suffocating Florida defense.
Well, to me, Tom, this has been the best team in the SEC the last 2 weeks. They're trending upward. They're playing exceptionally well on both ends of the floor. And I think a big piece of that has been their improved point guard play. Casey Hill and Chris Chiosa off the bench have really asserted themselves in the last couple weeks. And Florida's right where they want to be. They control their own destiny for an SEC regular season title.
You know, the funny part about this crowd here at Exact Tech Arena is Mike White has been concerned that his team might have a hard time playing in front of this crowd. He said sometimes they get a little giddy, they get a little amped up. Most coaches wouldn't say that. I mean, they had to play on the road for 11 games before this season began, before this new arena opened. And they've got a big one in front of them today in Texas A&M in Tyler Davis. We welcome courtside Tom Hart alongside Carol Lawson. This Florida team had a great game the other night with a post defense against Georgia's Yante Maten. How is A&M different on the interior of the Maten?
A&M is different in that they have more than one player that is an exceptional scorer. You look at Tyler Davis, and he's the big guy in the start, but Robert Williams, the freshman, in the starting lineup as well. He brings elite athleticism, pro athleticism, and highlight reel stuff. So that is the issue for Florida. It's not just one guy. It's 2 guys they got to deal with on the interior.
Florida's guards get a lot of attention for good reason because of their perimeter defense, because of what they can do in the backcourt and turning you over. But how will they help today in defending the post?
You're going to have to dig down. You're going to have to utilize your athleticism if you're the Florida guards. And a lot of the times, Tom, you defend the post before the ball gets in there. It's about your ball pressure. It's about getting after the post entry pass and making it difficult for those guys to get open. So you can do a lot of your work early as a perimeter player defensively if you get after it with good ball pressure.
There's Tyler Davis, a sophomore from Plano, Texas. He goes 6'10", 270. The Aggies coming off of a 3-point win at home against a game Missouri squad. They had to hold on late against Kim Anderson's team. Meanwhile, Florida won Tuesday night against Georgia. They held the Dogs at 33% shooting in the second half. Teddy Valentine makes sure everybody's in their spots right off the bat. Aggies in the road black, Gators in white, and Texas A&M has it with J.C. Hampton running the point.
Nice back there.
Hampton didn't want to put it up amongst the big, so he kicks out, and the three's off the mark for Trosha Morelos. And an early whistle in transition. We got a shot clock issue, never started.
Texas A&M got a quality look at the basket there, and it was a miss, but I love the pressure release, and I love attacking Florida's aggressiveness with that backdoor cut.
Casey Hill will start at the point for Florida. We'll also see Chris Chiozza out there off the bench. Challenge shot inside. A&M the second best shot blocking team in the SEC. J.C. Hampton for two. And it's brought down by Justin Leon, and it seems we have another clock issue. Shot clock didn't reset. Still reads 12, and so attention that the arena folks didn't want to see here early on. This is a new building, but it still has the same sounds as the O-Dome. The roof is the same. They blew out the sides, and they redid the entire interior. Got quite a facelift, didn't it? $64.5 million spent in the renovation. They forgot to fix the timing.
Yes.
Could have gone 64.5 plus 5. Had a start time here this morning. What a huge opportunity for number 17 Florida. We'll get the reveal of the top 16 teams according to the selection committee later this afternoon. And I don't know that anybody, even though Florida's picked to finish second in this league, I don't know that anybody thought that Florida would be the best team in the SEC, but that's what they look like right now.
Yeah, I certainly didn't. Now at the start, I thought Kentucky would be the best team in the SEC, but if you look at the last 2 weeks, I mean, that 88-66 win over Kentucky says it all. Now they'll get a chance to play again. Florida will have to go up to Rupp Arena, but right now, Florida's playing the best basketball in this conference.
Nationally, KenPom has them as the 20th most efficient offense, the 5th most efficient defense. One of the most well-rounded teams you'll see in college basketball. And look at that feed and the jam by John Egbunu.
Yeah, the angle wasn't great. I thought Davis had a chance at the pass, but that's not one that Egbunu's going to miss.
Poked away inside. Egbunu with the steal. And the Gators get a bucket from Leon, out to a 4-0 start thanks to their defense. Well, Mike White is coaching today, isn't he? Davis cut off. And it's pulled down by Devin Robinson. And the rebound into the hands of J.C. Hampton. 3-on-2 for the Aggies. Hampton will take it all the way in. And one. And a transfer from Lipscomb's going to the free throw line.
What a great start for Florida on both ends. And John Egbunu, look at that, defending the duck-in. And you got to be ready to defend duck-ins from Davis and from Williams. And Egbunu does a great job of just circling the defender and getting his hand on it. Great job individual one-on-one defensively. And then, Tom, I thought the next time down, as a team, Florida did a great job of digging down, digging it out from Tyler Davis, and forcing a rotation three.
Against Georgia Tuesday night, Florida had 12 steals and 7 blocks. Good ball movement, and Justin Leon throws it in.
Yeah, he can hit that. The lefty will come down and trail, look to knock down the three-point shot. It helps with Florida's spacing, too, giving Egbunu time to operate and space to operate down in the paint.
Aggies looking for something inside, nothing there, but Casey Hill, he's off to the races. And that one will be against Texas A&M. Hill looked like he was out of control, but on the collision, J.C. Hampton whistled for his first.
Well, here's what cannot happen for Texas A&M, and that's live ball turnovers. Talked with Billy Kennedy before the game, and that's exactly what he said. Live ball turnovers do that. It gets Casey Hill, Chris Chiozza in the open court, and their team speed is better than Texas A&M's. Texas A&M can't win this game if it's being played up and down.
Chris Chiozza enters for the first time. What do you think of the fashion choice by the Aggies today in the all black?
I love it. I love the all black. I'd have it. I'd have the tights. I'd have the side. I'd have it all.
You'd go long sleeves, maybe a headband.
I don't know about all that. Don't get carried away.
Accessories make the outfit. Rebound into the hands of Robert Williams. Aggies have found nothing on offense. They're 1 for 3 without an offensive rebound and another steal. Kayvon Allen comes up with this one. Look at the dish and the jam. Trosha Morelos with the answer. Well, the baseline opened up for the Aggies, and they're sticking with this big lineup here in the first 4 minutes. With Trosha Morelos at the 3. It'll be Aggies basketball. They haven't taken care of it.
The pressure Florida puts on you is sweltering in the half court. Kayvon Allen, Casey Hill, Chris Shields, you cannot be loose with the basketball. You have to be filled with purpose as a guard going against these guys, because they will wait and seek out a moment of weakness in your handle, and they'll take advantage of it.
There's the lob. Oh, wow. It's Robert Williams.
Yeah, he's something else.
Nice feed. Another jam. High percentage looks for Florida. Kevarius Hayes with the dunk. Great help by Chiozza. We end up with 3 seconds in the lane and another Texas A&M turnover. That's the 4th in the first 4.5 minutes. Another sellout here. When we return, we'll talk a little SEC. Y'all come back now, you hear? Well, it's been a wild and wacky season in the Southeastern Conference. South Carolina having a monster year. They're looking to win the conference for the first time in 20 years. Kentucky's had some recent struggles in this regular season. And we've told you about the Gators' defense, maybe one of the best in the country. The league month 1 of 2 in the SEC on the Wooden Award watch list. We check out bracketology as it relates to this league. Kentucky currently at 3 seed. He's got Florida 4, South Carolina 5, and 2 more sitting on the bubble, but in as of now, Arkansas and Tennessee.
Well, I'll tell you, the team that's not listed there that could end up having one of the great weeks in the SEC this season is Alabama. How about going to South Carolina, winning 4 overtimes on Tuesday, and facing Kentucky today?
You know, they got a little help overnight. The Kentucky team was chased out of its hotel in Tuscaloosa 3 times by false fire alarms overnight. You think John Calipari's I don't know, a little extra grumpy when they showed up to Coleman Coliseum today?
That is fantastic. Wow.
Yeah.
Those Alabama, I mean, I'm obviously being a tad sarcastic. It's not fantastic, but
well,
wow.
We don't know that it was an Alabama fan.
Come
it could have been just
3 times?
Hey, listen, as many clock issues as we've had today, you never know.
Yeah.
There's Kevarius Hayes with his 2nd bucket. Yeah, 3 times.
Wow.
And they had to evacuate the entire hotel, so it's not like you could put your pillow over your head and try to work through it. Billy Kennedy is sticking with his big lineup. Does that surprise you?
You know, I think we'll see DJ Hogue check in here in a little bit. He's already at the table, but you know, Billy Kennedy doesn't have a ton of depth, so he has to try and figure out how can he squeeze some minutes for some guys on the bench, and he keeps the starters on the floor most of the time, particularly his backcourt guys.
Well, we got a chicken wing and a foul on Justin Leon. It's his first rivalry week. Rolls on tonight on ESPN at 6 o'clock Eastern. Florida State takes on Notre Dame in South Bend. If you like offense, that'll be the place to be. Then at 8:15, Gonzaga squares off with arch rival St. Mary's. It will be rocking in Moraga. Also streaming live on the ESPN app and watch ESPN.
Have you ever been to Moraga? Have you done a game in Moraga?
I have not been there.
Fantastic. Small gym. Students are there right on top of you, and I know they're excited having game day there for the first time.
It will be rocking. Only 2 remaining unbeaten in college basketball. The UConn women 23-0. Yeah, they've won 98 in a row. Gonzaga 25-0. The last men's college basketball team that won the national championship as the last undefeated team in college basketball was Billy Donovan's Florida team. That was in 2006. Now, they only got to 17-0 before a loss to Bruce Pearl in Tennessee.
And just to explain to you, they didn't go undefeated. They were the last undefeated team remaining.
That's why we keep you around.
Yes.
Help correct
Well, sometimes it's confusing.
navigate me through things. Chiozza crossover kick. Here's Stone, who's been ill lately and has had limited time. And there's Chiozza in the backcourt being a pest. 5 turnovers already for Texas A&M today. They turn it over 14 times a game. It's an A&M team in many ways missing their point guard from last year, Alex Caruso. They lost 3 all-conference performers off of the Sweet 16 team last year. Hogue on the floor for the first time, created some space, then turned it into a fadeaway. Kenyon Berry in the game for Florida, one of the best 6th men in college basketball. Egbunu, they'll wave off the basket and say it's on the floor.
One of the strengths of this Florida team is their depth. Bringing Kenyon Berry, a double-figure scorer, off of the bench. Chris Chiozza allows Casey Hill to go to that off-guard position.
One of the things Mike White was concerned about was baseline inbounds plays against Texas A&M because of the length of both Tyler Davis and Robert Williams. You put a big guy right in front of the ball. They put in a specific play just for this and look for Egbunu to try and get in the corner and post up to find the ball. This is how worried he is about it, trying to find a safety valve.
Well, they go 2-3 zone out of the end, out of bounds. And so what does that mean? That means your longest guys are stationed across the baseline. And so you're right. With that lineup and going 2-3 zone, and sometimes it is hard to get it in.
Skip pass nearly stolen. Chiozza back to Berry. Little head fake to create space. Offensive board for Egbunu. Wow. Quick look to Stone, and he's rejected by Tyler Davis. Taken right back by Florida. Hill fouled. You will see some wow defensive plays today.
Well, how about this ball fake? Creating space by Chris Chiozza. Just elite as a passer. We'll check this out on the offensive rebound. Moving the defense. You know, pass fakes and ball fakes, particularly when you're going up against a zone. That creates alleys. That gives you the ability to be able to get your teammates the basketball. You see how fast he threw that pass to Stone? It's a bullet pass.
More zone from Billy Kennedy this season than in years past. They play about 27% zone. Why is the zone more important to him defensively this year?
Well, he doesn't quite have the perimeter players on the offensive or defensive end that he had a season ago. And so that's why he's going to more of a zone and also helps protect his big guys. They're in 2-3 right here. We'll see some 1-3-1 from them at times. I don't know if we'll see it today against Florida, but we've seen it this season.
Florida worked on that 1-3-1 a lot yesterday in practice. It was a hard practice for the Gators yesterday afternoon, but then Mike White rewarded them by giving the morning off, no shoot-around. Trying to change their luck. They've gotten off to slow starts in previous noon games this season, including a home loss to Vanderbilt. That is turnover number 7 for Texas A&M. We've got a 3-point game here in Gainesville. Stop hitting the snooze button. Time to get going in Gainesville.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Wendy's, proud sponsor of the 2017 John R. Wooden Player of the Year.
98 wins in a row. UConn, the quest for 100-0. Monday night, 9 p.m. on ESPN2.
Well, there's a lot of ways to put 100 in perspective. It's not just how fast Kara Lawson drove in from Valdosta, Georgia this morning, but some other sporting accomplishments, including Usain Bolt with 3 straight golds in the 100 meters. Wayne Gretzky, the great one, 100-plus points in 13 straight seasons. And Wilt Chamberlain not only had a 100-point game, but 126 straight with 20 points.
100. I mean, it's just remarkable. I can't wait to be at the game there in Gamble on Monday night between South Carolina and UConn. And it's just, it's so impressive what they've been able to do and how many ranked teams they've been able to do it against. And this year, losing the top 3 picks in the WNBA draft, 1, 2, and 3 were from UConn. They lost their 3 best players, still undefeated.
Handicap that game for me. What kind of chance Udon Staley's Gamecocks have? There's a jam by Agbunu.
I think the challenge for them and the challenge for every team is, can you score with UConn? UConn's one of the best defensive teams. Can South Carolina make plays, on UConn's defense? It's one of the best defenses in the country. South Carolina has the advantage on the interior with Asia Wilson and Elena Coates, so that's where they got to go. Much like Texas A&M needs to go into their big guys right here.
Tyler Davis bowls his way in. 11 of A&M's 13 points have come in the paint. Nice feed. Hogue got in the air.
Well, the post players are going to be at the forefront. And talk about feeding the post, the lost art of the post entry. Look at that. Little English on it to curve back into Egbunu's hand. That is not an easy pass. And yeah, I thought Egbunu was just okay. We had him at Georgia, and I thought he was just okay in Athens. He's come out today and played exceptionally well. Very physical, carving out space on the offensive end.
He only had 6 points and 3 boards in 23 minutes against the Dogs on Tuesday night. But they forced Yante Maton into 5 turnovers in that game. And that post defense was so active. That foul was on Tyler Davis, his first. That'll be a key, as you mentioned, Kara. Not much depth for Texas A&M. They go to Chris Collins for the first time in this game. He got a few starts at the point guard position, including his first ever start. Came on the road at Rupp Arena.
Former walk-on.
Yep. With too much mustard on that one. 4th turnover for the Gators. Casey Hill into the passing lane, and he forces the turnover. Gators lead by 3. Tomorrow, 4 Eastern, Cincinnati squares off with SMU in an AAC battle and a journey to the tourney matchup. Also streaming live on the ESPN app and watch ESPN. Moody Coliseum will be hot. SMU sitting at 21 wins already.
Yeah, I can't wait for that one. Shemi Ojeleye has had a great year for SMU. Cincinnati, those are the 2 dominant teams in the American Conference this season. They've both had tremendous seasons.
Hill turns the corner, gets all the way down the lane. Robinson. And here come the Aggies. Chris Collins comes out with it, pushes it up. Williams, no. And he went sprawling all the way over to the Gators bench.
Texas A&M has guarded that 3-point line pretty well, forcing Robinson and then Allen off the line the last couple possessions.
Get the gap, bro! Get the gap, bro!
Allen lets it fly. Oh, backbreaker. Hogue, tough fire late against Missouri, but overall he's been struggling since he missed a couple of games with a foot injury.
They need him. They need him to play well today. He brings some outside shooting, and he brings some rebounding to the back line.
Quick shot from Leon. Admon Gilder has yet to score in this game.
Yeah.
The Aggies guard over the last 7 games is averaging 18 a game. Robinson commits a foul, his first. And back to the bench, and Kevarius Hayes returns. How can Gilder get involved in the offense?
Well, it's difficult. You're talking about going against a Florida defense that's one of the top in the country. They're elite, and he's being checked by Hill or Chiozza or Allen. I mean, they're just not guys that are easy to score against one-on-one.
Another Aggies turnover. It's the 9th of the half.
The only nice thing I can say about that is at least it wasn't liable, right? I mean, at least Florida's not going the other way. If you're going to have turnovers, you want them to be of that variety.
Casey Hill with his second. Does this tempo benefit Texas A&M?
No, I mean, if Texas A&M can stop turning over the basketball, then the tempo will favor them, because I think they've done a pretty good job of slowing the game down, take away those turnovers. But if you turn it over, it doesn't matter if you want to slow the game down. It's hard to will the game to slow down when you're turning the basketball over at the rate they are.
Gators get 27% of their points off of opponents' turnovers.
Nice. That is a textbook dig there by Chris Chiozza. How good was that?
That's like a mouse finding its cheese. When we return, we'll talk cheese, the name game from Gainesville after this timeout.
Alongside LaFonso Ellis, I'm Adnan Burke. Coming up on the Land Rover Halftime Report, we'll preview Gonzaga and St. Mary's, #1 team in the country, facing their biggest remaining test. What are we seeing so far from the Gators and that lack of a true point guard?
Yeah, I like what Texas A&M is doing is they're playing a 2-3 zone to take some of the pace out of the game. But the problem is the turnovers have killed them. 10 turnovers have led to 8 points for Florida.
Well, clearly something needs to be cleaned up for the Gators. Back to more of them in A&M. We'll see you at the half. Guys, back to you.
All right, Adnan, thanks. Fonzo's right, this 40% turnover rate. Well, let's take a look at those nicknames. K-Law, which is your favorite? We got Cheese Chiozza on the floor for Florida. Lindbergh Cheese Johnson played at Wichita State back in the 70s. Of course, Cedric Cornbread Maxwell is my favorite.
I'm white chocolate. I loved watching Jason Williams play, so I would go white. But I also like the microwave, too. I was a big fan of Vinnie Johnson coming in, the third guard, right, behind Thomas and Dumars there with the Pistons.
They're all food related, which takes us back to you. You've forever been known as K-Law on the court. I think maybe we need to amend that a little bit.
Okay.
Keeping with the food theme. We'll call you Cashew the rest of the season.
Cashew, yes. That is my favorite, but I do steal all your almonds too. I'm a blend, the cashew almond blend.
We're all nuts. 7.5 left in the half. They've turned it over 7 times in the last 12 possessions. And on 40% of their possessions in this game. And yet they're only down a half dozen. Here's Hold. Shot clock winding down. Another Texas A&M turnover. Florida with the run out, and Allen's going to the line.
It must be so uncomfortable to play against Florida's defense. Anytime one of their post players catches, you see Tyler Davis tries to drive that last possession. There's guys getting into the paint.
A&M has been guilty of turnovers all season. 25 times they turned it over against South Carolina. Same number against Kentucky. Of course, a pretty good job keeping care of the ball against West Virginia.
Well, turnovers have been the issue. You see digging down, they try to get a repost. That's a poor angle. They've happened because of a number of reasons. But look at Florida and how well they're moving, how alert their guys off the basketball are to where the ball is, who's possessing it, and who they need to attack. That's the key to great defense. How good are the guys off the ball as well? Good help.
They finally get a shot off, and it's rejected by Egbunu. And then Chiozza Finds it across midcourt. The lob. Oh, my goodness. Curly Neal would be proud. From the block to the spin move. And oh, by the way, I got a buddy at the rim. Odom's rocking. This was a globe-trotting Florida Gators team before their arena was built. Now they're in this fancy new place, and Chris Chiozza able to find his footing and a friend.
Look at that. Keeping the basketball alive. I thought he carried it at the end. Now, he was blocked by the referee, but he got a little extra loving underneath the basketball right there.
He just turned it over.
Yeah, yeah.
Leads 11. Aggies finally get a shot off, and it's a beautiful one from Robert Williams.
Hey, we wouldn't want the rules to get in the way of a good alley-oop, right? We wouldn't want that. We wouldn't want that.
It's like facts getting in the way of a good story. Robinson challenge, taken away by Hogue. Josha Morelos was at the center of that. Corner three, Hampton, got it! And the Aggies not going anywhere just yet.
Just because they want the pace to be slower does not mean you can't be opportunistic in transition, finding openings. Nice job there by Gilder shooting the gap.
First bucket for Admon Gilder comes on a steal and a slam.
Yeah, wait to respond, right? Florida goes on. The crowd is getting crazy. They get an alley-oop dunk. Texas A&M calls a timeout, and immediately you get the 5-0 run. Nice job, Aggies.
Save. Gilder whips it ahead, but too much. Based on their style of play, the fact that they're at home, you would think that chaos would favor the Gators in this game, not Texas A&M.
Yeah, chaos, absolutely. Chaos does favor them, but that does not mean that when you have a numbers situation in transition, 2-on-1, 3-on-2, that you don't take advantage of it, because it is hard for Texas A&M to manufacture easy shots. And so you have to try and get a couple of those in transition if you can.
Easier said than done. Florida's in the 96th percentile in transition defense this season. Barry. What do you think of Florida's shot selection last few trips?
You know, the thing that you always have to worry, I think I worry about with shot selection, Tom, is you'd like it to be perfect every time down, but you don't want to take away a player's aggressiveness and freedom and get in their head. So one bad shot, you're okay, you might be okay with. If it becomes more than one, then you've got to address it. You want guys to play free, though, and if you're Florida, you want an up and down pace.
Gators have missed their last 4. Hogue left wide open. Finds Hampton. Still nothing doing on that side. Aggies tentative. Gilder commits his first on the drive. It's a 4-point Florida lead, but Texas A&M still riding a 7-0 run.
UConn's quest for an astonishing 100 straight, Monday at 9 on ESPN2.
Well, that'll be a big one Monday night. South Carolina at UConn, and UConn will likely be aiming for 100 consecutive win. Let's look at some notable NCAA women's win streaks. Penn State volleyball won 109 in a row. North Carolina soccer dominated in the early 90s. And I don't think the Washburn Lady Ichabods thought that they would get some run today on national television, but 51 consecutive wins in 05-06 for the Ichabods.
I don't know that I have any deeper notes on the Ichabods, but I will say that North Carolina soccer, I mean,
what was better?
That stretch with Mia Hamm and Christine Lilly, Tisha Venturini, and is good.
Ichabod is 15-8 this season, by the way.
All right.
Another scoreless trip for Florida, their 6th in a row. 0 for 5 from the floor with a turnover, and A&M has done a quick change on this game. It was the Aggies who had 5 consecutive scoreless trips at one point. Offensive board. Here's Hampton. Halfway down. Chiozza. Fancy. Berry. Boom.
Those two play so well together. Great job by Chiozza to engage multiple defenders, and that opened up Berry for the shot.
Wow. Beautiful job by Admon Gilder. He'll go to the free throw line.
He's playing his best basketball of the season in the last couple weeks, and look at that. Really nice. Knock to Canyon Berry, and that wasn't an easy shot. Bogue has terrific length at 6'9", so a lot of times he'll have his feet in the paint, and you'll think, oh, I'm going to get an open three, and he can close pretty fast.
Cheese and berry, not your typical dessert dish. Gilder, the sophomore from Dallas, has played, coming into this game, 279 of the 280 minutes of the previous 7 games for Texas A&M.
Are you hungry?
Is it obvious?
Yeah, it is.
We've got a great menu of college basketball all day, don't we?
All right.
Finishing out on the West Coast.
Well, this is just the first course, man. Don't blow it, all right?
Look at this steal. Gilder gets his hand in the passing lane. Wow! The jam by Gilder. He's got 5. It's a 3-point game.
Look how high the back line wings are. They're really shutting down those clean looks from Florida. See Miller above the second hash, almost to the third hash.
A&M has never led in this game.
Yeah, I like this. So you get a stop, and now this is where you can kind of control pace. Use the shot clock. Look for your high-low action.
Thought that was kicked, was it not? Got his hand on it, I guess. Here's Hampton. Shot clock at 5. Gilder with the screen. Tough 3. Boom! We're tied at 27. A tale of 2 halves for Texas A&M. When they can take care of the basketball, they're dangerous, and they've outscored Florida 14-3 on this run.
Admon Gilder has played all but 1 minute in Texas A&M's last 6 games. An important piece at point guard, little ball screen action. He gets the switch, knowing that the shot clock is running down. A nice little hesitation there to be able to get it off. And wow, what a first half here by Texas A&M.
This is why it's so important. Florida aiming for a conference title. They're in a tight race with Kentucky and South Carolina. And don't forget, there's also a logjam in the middle. 7 teams within 6 games of each other from 4th to 10th place. Why is that important? At the SEC tournament in Nashville, the top 4 teams get a double bye. The bottom 4 have to play on the opening night. So motivation for Texas A&M to climb the rankings, and for the Gators looking for their 8th SEC title. Typically a very efficient offensive team, but a bit of a slump here. Made just 1 of their last 7. So I guess the question is with Florida, who do you go to when you need to have a bucket?
Well, you know, I think with Florida, you put the basketball in the hands of Chiozza and Casey Hill if he's in the game, and you let them play make. and find the open player. The way this game has changed is because Texas A&M stopped turning over the basketball, right? They were turning it over. Florida was getting it out and run. You don't turn it over, and all of a sudden now it's a lot harder for Florida to score against your half-court defense. Nice high low.
Davis gets deep. No numbers for Chiozza. No matter. And Barry will track it down. Ill-advised. Trosha Morelos with his first. 26 seconds left in the half. The top 16 seeds are in. We got 0 Big Ten teams in the mix. And Kentucky and Florida, 2 of the 3 seeds, according to the committee today.
And those are the 2 teams that I thought would be in the top 16. South Carolina might have been flirting with it on the outside, but certainly losing to Alabama this week, I think torpedoed those chances. So that's a fair evaluation right now, I think, of the teams in the SEC and Kentucky and Florida.
Meanwhile, 36 consecutive made free throws by Canyon Barry. He hasn't missed in a month, longest streak since Torian Green in 2006. Leads back to 2. I was back in the studio and break that down from head to toe. This top 16 released today. 3 ball. Oh, slid off the rim. Gators have a chance to add to their lead. Kayvon Allen ran into a wall. Aggies get it back, and a heave at the buzzer goes wide. Mike White is beside himself. There wasn't a whistle on that final drive by Kayvon Allen. He played point guard in this league. He knows what it looks like, but didn't get the whistle. And what a wild first half. Back and forth between A&M and Florida. And Mike White left scratching his head. 29-27, our score here in Gainesville.
Watching ESPN's Rivalry Week, presented by Wendy's.
Welcome back to the SEC on ESPN. Another sellout at Exact Tech Arena in a 2-point game at the break. Number 17, Florida, leading Texas A&M by a deuce. Gators in a 3-team race, it seems, for an SEC regular season championship. They've won 7 all time. They're tied with Kentucky, just underway against Alabama, and South Carolina at Mississippi State tonight at 9-2. Welcome courtside. Tom Hart alongside Kara Lawson. What a first half. A&M couldn't keep a hold of the ball, and then when they did, they went on a run.
Yeah, Florida's defense really exerted their will there in the first part of that first half, and they were able to turn over Texas A&M. And that was the difference, and what allowed the Gators to shoot out to an early lead. But then Texas A&M, as you see the turnovers and the pressure, then Texas A&M and Admon Gilder, they got going. And they were able to control some pace. They were able to get some turnovers of their own, get out in transition and score some easy buckets. We're opportunistic in that area. Remember, this is a Texas A&M team that has a hard time manufacturing easy baskets, but they were able to do that in the latter stages of the first half. And then end of a shot clock play right here, just understanding you have a switch, and Gilder with 9 big points. And this score is exactly where Texas A&M wants it on the road.
First 13 minutes, it seemed to be all Florida. A&M's turnover ratio at that time was 40%. And then they've brought that down to 31% the rest of the half, and the Gators have hit on just 1 of their last 9 field goal attempts. They start the second half with the basketball, and Casey Hill facing the 1-3-1 for the first time as the Aggies have changed things up coming out of the locker room. Barry starting the second half for Florida. Shot clock at 5. Leon short. An offensive rebound and a refresh of the shot clock.
Back to the 2-3, so just a 1-3-1 initially. And I thought it's done. It's done a pretty good job of startling the Gators just a bit.
Justin Leon with his first triple of the game.
And when you have that zone, and you've got your 4-player in Leon that has the ability to knock down the 3-point shot, that gives you 4 players out there that are threats on the perimeter.
Pardon me, his second three. Hit a big one in the first half.
That's what we're talking about at the start of the game. The first line of post defense is your ball pressure. Tyler Davis had a good post up there on the block, but Casey Hill does a nice job of getting the deflection, and now Texas A&M has to reset.
Casey Hill with the rebound. Transition three for Allen. And here's Admon Gilder. Whoa! And there's Robert Williams. Leon finds the gap again. And look at Barry on the offensive glass. Ooh. Tough break for A&M. It went off the hands of Robert Williams, but this one didn't.
And Admon Gilder, nice job attacking. And Robert Williams with the finish.
Canyon Barry from the corner. Wide open in the corner is Williams. He hasn't made a three all season, now 0 for 10. There's a nice mix. A&M undergrad and Florida graduate student in the crowd today. Mixed emotions, I'm sure, but I guess it's the first time I've ever seen an Aggie do the Gator chomp.
Yeah, or a Gator gig 'em.
Great point. She made that shirt herself, by the way. Not available in the Florida bookstore. Stolen away by Admon Gilder. And he lost it on his way in. A foul inside on Leon, and that'll be a shooting foul, it seems. Aggressive look to try to get it to the rim. Tonight on ESPN, after Gonzaga and St. Mary's, don't miss Sports Center night with Bucci and Anderson. They'll have the highlights from the hardwood, the ice, updates from UFC 208, and everything else. Also streaming live on the ESPN app and watch ESPN.
Does everything else include the Warriors at the Thunder?
Yes,
okay.
It would.
All right.
Because I know that's what you're waiting for.
Yes. Do you think they'll boo Kevin Durant, or do you think they'll cheer?
Hannah Storm asked James Harden about that today. You know, what do you expect? How many people have been through that? To be basically the savior and the face of a franchise, the only professional franchise in an entire state, and then leave.
LeBron.
So that's two.
Yeah.
Chioza got to the logo with ease. And Trosha Morelos commits his second personal foul. Ford has been scoreless for the last 2.5 minutes. Here's Barry in the corner. Gators get to 50-50. Aggies take it right back.
We spent so much time talking about Texas A&M's turnovers in the first half. Florida up to double digits, turning the basketball over now.
Nice look. and A&M has its first lead of the game.
Yeah, hard to double team when the basketball's in the middle of the floor. That's why that whole high-low works so well. You get the front, just lob it right over the top, no help defense.
Josha Morelos on the glass. He'll bring it across the timeline. Back into the wide body, but it's stolen away on the help from Casey Hill. Chiozza for three. Ugh.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the first side post-up for Texas A&M. What I mean by the first side is when you come down and pass it right away, make the defense move, try and get high-low, then you'll be able to get in your offense. The double team is waiting for Tyler Davis when they come down and just try to look at it, stare at it, and throw it in.
Robert Williams is having a great game. He's above his average. Timeout Florida in a 3-point lead. You may have noticed how Kenyon Berry shoots his free throws. We'll tell you where that came from. Pops in the stands today, and other shooters who have left their mark. Rick Barry, the Miami Greyhound, the only player in history to lead the NCAA, ABA, and NBA in scoring, known for his underhand free throws. The Iceman George Gervin could finger roll and some other signature shots.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, the sky hook. We saw that for so many years, over 2 decades in the NBA. How about Steph Curry, the deep three, a couple steps past half court. That's become a signature. And Michael Jordan, the dunk. Not just the dunk, but the dunk with the tongue and the in-air artistry that Michael Jordan provided.
Air Jordan, Air Jordan, Air Jordan. How about these two? Averaging a triple-double, the Big O at Cincinnati. Russell Westbrook now. Some signature moves from great players. And Rick Barry, along with his wife, Lynn Norberg Barry, in the stands. There's their son, Canyon, who's taken over for his dad with that free throw shooting style. And he was at it today pregame from mid-court.
Come on.
That's not easy, is it?
Look at that.
Student section went nuts. The Reptiles were rowdy, and he just walked right off the floor. So speaking of Westbrook, this week's NBA Saturday primetime game presented by Verizon Wireless on ABC features the Warriors in OKC with a showdown with the Thunder. Coverage tips with NBA Countdown presented by Straight Talk Wireless at 8 p.m. Eastern. Also streaming live on the ESPN app, and watch ESPN. OKC has won 8 of 9 at home.
So you didn't mess up with rivalry week, but you mess up with Thunder. What in the world? Who are you?
The TH sound has always been a struggle for me.
Okay, I got it.
See what I mean? And a nice looking jump shot from Devin Robinson. That's his first bucket. 1-point game again. This has been a fun one today. I got to be honest, the way things started for A&M, I thought Florida was on its way to another big blowout. But as Billy Kennedy pointed out to us this morning, he said we've only played really one bad game all season. That was the loss at Rupp, where they turned it over 25 times. And the Cats went on a 15-0 run basically to start the game. A lot of traffic in there, and it's stripped away by Williams. Oh, walked with it. Back to Florida. Aggies by a single digit against the SEC champion hopeful Gators.
It has been over 2 years since the Connecticut Huskies lost a game. 98 wins in a row. UConn, the quest for 100-0. Monday night, 9 p.m. on ESPN2.
And it won't be easy. Number 6, South Carolina, headed to Stores to take on UConn. Some other notable men's win streaks. Of course, that fantastic football program at De La Salle High School in California, for the all-time record, 151 consecutive wins. Bud Wilkinson Sooners won 47 in a row on the gridiron in the mid-50s. And yeah, the Cubs were good back in the 30s. 21 consecutive wins in 1935, MLB record.
Cubs are good now.
It's come full circle. It just took a while for us to get there.
Yep.
You know who else went to De La Salle? The Berry brothers, 3 of Canyon's stepbrothers. All played major college basketball, starting with Scooter, who won a national championship with Danny and the Miracles in 1988 with Kansas. Ball turned over into the hands of Robert Williams. And a whistle on Hill trying to dig in there. And there's his third. So everybody knows how great a player Rick Barry was. His wife, Canyon's mom, was a pretty good player in her own right.
She's a great player, and she's had a lot to do with women's basketball in this country. You see the assistant executive director of USA Basketball, a part of helped putting together 3 Olympic teams. Of course, culminating in that 96 team in Atlanta, and then went did some work with the WNBA as well. She was a heck of a player.
I asked Canyon what he got from his mom, and he said, number one, the academic. She was an academic All-American. He is on his way to being one. He said, but the other thing people may not realize, all of my ball handling skills came from my mom and the drills that we would do on a daily basis. He said, especially the 2-ball drill every day out in the driveway with my mom working on it.
Yeah. Well, you sound surprised. Does that surprise you?
No, not at all.
Oh.
We got a foul on Robinson, and it looked like Gilder caught one right in the nose. And they're going to go take a look at this, I assume, to see if this was flagrant. That's basically the definition, isn't it? I mean, it can be deemed a basketball play. We're seeing less of these called flagrant these days than they were 2 years ago when this rule initially came out. But
right. Remember, if he's in his area, you know.
Within the cylinder, as it's ruled, it also depends on where the ball is and the formation of the forearms. If you're going to clear it over your head, sometimes you'll get clearance in that regard.
If it's parallel, right, if your arms are parallel. Let's see.
A long talk with Mark Fox at Georgia, who's on the Rules Committee, about just this play a couple of days ago. It'll be the 3rd straight turnover for Florida regardless. And their 13th of the game. And a common foul on Devin Robinson. The only question is if it is deemed flagrant.
I think it's just a common foul, but we'll see.
I think with the ball above his head, he's clear from being assessed a flagrant. Terry Moore, Vladimir Voyatredov at the monitor. I don't think you would say that Gilder would have been in the cylinder of the offensive player. He was a step away. It would be looked at differently if he was not giving the offensive player space to make that move.
I'm hungry now.
Yep, they want to see what Teddy sees. These poor students, the Rowdy Reptiles, have been camping out for this game. They're intense starting yesterday morning to reserve their spots. They're a little groggy this morning. This doesn't do any favors for them. Rivalry Week rolls on tonight on ESPN at 6 Eastern as Florida State takes on Notre Dame in South Bend. Then at 8:15, it's the big one. Top-ranked Gonzaga squares off with arch rival St. Mary's. Both games will stream live on the ESPN app and watch ESPN. Florida State, by the way, off to its best start since the late 70s, 77-78, when they were in the Metro Conference. They have a really good-looking resume, 5-1 versus the BPI top 25. You know what's wrong with America today? Too many meetings.
Yes, I agree with you. We're about to have a meeting.
Yes, we're not in the clear. We'll have one as well. Okay, so they have ruled that it was indeed a cylinder play, that Gilder was within the cylinder of Leon. So after review, they will take the foul away from Justin Leon.
No, Robinson.
Well, Devin Robinson, right. And it will stay with Florida.
So there's no foul.
No foul.
There's no foul. Because
one of the rare instances where you can take a foul away via replay.
He was in the cylinder.
I mean, I don't see him in the cylinder, to be perfectly honest. I know that's up to interpretation, but the way I understand that is if you are really in the guy's shorts, like giving him no space to move, there was, you know, 1.5 feet between the players, it seemed like, when that play started.
Yeah, but what if you have long arms and you swing? Does that change your cylinder?
I mean, the way I interpret it, it starts with the body positioning, and if, you know, to me, that starts with the chest and the hips. Anyone can reach, you know, anyone at a 7-foot wingspan, you can cover a lot of ground. We might have to order a second dessert. And they want to speed up baseball by changing the rules. Go. 7 seconds remain on the shot clock. Williams doesn't give you much space to get it inbounds, does he? And it leads to a Texas A&M takeaway. Hogue taps it back out. Pinball game continues. Now Chiozza. And he'll draw a whistle and go to the line. So here's Chris Chiozza, the junior from Memphis out of White Station High School. Same high school as Joe Jackson. Our buddy Dane Bradshaw, SEC Network, played there.
Oh, it's one of my favorite SEC players, Dane Bradshaw.
So who would be the most famous alum? Joe Jackson, Dane Bradshaw, Paul Feinbaum, or award winner Kathy Bates? Academy Award winners.
Did Phyllis from Mulga go there?
No, she's from Mulga.
Oh, okay. Probably Feinbaum then.
Shot clock at 3. Good ball fake. Offensive rebound and one coming for Tyler Davis.
That is about as perfect a possession, an offensive possession, as you can get for Texas A&M, because remember, pace. They want to control the pace. They missed the shot, and then the space eater, Tyler Davis, gets the offensive rebound, puts it back and in. A&M is controlling the tempo expertly here in the second half, with a little help from the referees.
Yes. Like sands through the hourglass. Tyler Davis has 7 now, largest lead of the game for A&M. Remember that A&M possession started with a steal on the baseline out of bounds that Mike White told us yesterday he was so concerned with because of the length they put on the ball. Oh, we got a shove in the open floor and a silly foul against Robert Williams, his second, as he sent Devin Robinson to the turf. Well, that didn't look as flagrant in the replay, did it?
But you can't get baited into that. You can't get baited into to bumping as you're running down the court. If he bumps you, you've got to try and get your position running to the rim.
I mean, come on, Rubin's racing, right? It's like trading paint in a parking lot. Don't call the insurance company, just play on. Oh, it's blocked! Pinned by Williams. Here come the Aggies. Out front, Gilder shares it. Aggressive move by Davis, doesn't pay off. Chiozza the other way, fouled hard by J.C. Hampton.
Robert Williams has done a great job here in the second half for Texas A&M, erasing the shot on the glass.
Inside LaFonso Ellis, I'm Adnan Burke, updating you on what's happening with Clemson and Duke. Grayson Allen here for three, Fonz.
Oh, you got to guard Duke at the three-point line. Run them off of it. How about 13 made threes against Carolina?
Blue Devils right now up by 10 versus Clemson. Also, Kentucky, Alabama, 5-point lead here, Fonz, for the Wildcats.
Yeah, Kentucky got the defense has to get better. And Kara, you did a phenomenal job in studio.
Tom, Kara, back to you guys.
I mean, what do you expect? Of course she did.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I'll listen to some of the praise from Fonz. Why not? Let me enjoy it.
Here's a look at the top 16 seeds as the committee shared what they're thinking today. Villanova, the #1 overall seed. They got 2 in the SEC there. Kentucky and Florida as 3 seeds. Could be some movement there. Florida doesn't come from behind in this game.
I always have fun working in the studio with those guys, Adnan and Fonz. I'll have fun with you too. You're good.
I mean, I think I should have to ask for that, but it's been a quiet day for Chiozza.
Every time Collins comes in, they're going to bring the pressure. One-on-one, Kayvon Allen, look at him. Lurking, trying to see for a loose dribble.
An array of moves inside, but no finish. And then a foul on Trosha Morelos III.
Tyler Davis. I mean, this is just one-on-one big boy basketball right here. Great job by Egbunu to stand him up, not let him get to the middle of the floor and force that spinning shot to the baseline. And that's an advantage Florida has against Texas A&M in that they don't have to double with Egbunu in the game one-on-one. He's going to get a go at it. Rolls reversed.
Collins tries to help.
Nice.
Bennett just muscles his way in.
He was so active and early in the first half, posting up and scoring. And they kind of forgot about him a little bit. But now Egbunu, I mean, I think Florida's got to look to him when he's in the game. Look to get him the basketball. Let him go one-on-one.
That's a second on Tyler Davis. And a 6th on A&M. Gators will be shooting after the next. Williams returns. $18 turnovers for Texas A&M today. Barry, floater, got it. And Florida's back in front. Nice finish by Trosha Morelos. A&M back in front. Leon. Gators back in front. Wow. Oh, rejected by Egbunu. Chiozza got a bump on the baseline from Gilder.
Wow, well, look at that. Talked about the ability to play one-on-one of Egbunu on the defensive end, his strength, his ability to block shots. But Texas A&M's got to be smarter, right? Some of these fouls have been dumb. I mean, they've been dumb. I mean, 10.5 minutes in, and Florida already now is in the bonus. And you're a team that we talked about. It's so hard for you to manufacture easy shots. And because it's hard for you to manufacture easy shots, you have to do a good job of not giving the other team easy opportunities. One of that is no live ball turnovers. The second thing is stop fouling and put them on the free throw line.
Well, Chiozza knocks down the first. We had a great visit with him after the Georgia game last week. You see the tattoo high up on his arm. That's his late grandmother, Pearlie, who's from Memphis, and he's found another way to commemorate Grandma and his grandpa, Emerson. Inside the tongue of those Nikes, he's got his grandma and grandpa's names stitched into the tennis shoes. So every time he takes the floor, he's thinking of his late grandparents. Every time he laces them up. And he's helped Florida to a 10-2 run, and now it's Allen. Timeout, A&M. This new building sounds like the old one. It is rocking in here today as number 17 Florida's opened up a 6-point lead in the thick of an SEC race. They've forced 19 turnovers thanks to 10 steals. One of the things that hasn't changed in the new building is the Rowdy Reptiles behind us. And you see them, they were here early. And this team has had 8 games. This is the 8th home game in this new arena. 6 of the 8 have been sellouts. And you can see the momentum building, the excitement here on campus for this Florida team that has a chance to go deep in March. They have turned it around with a 7-0 run over the last 45 seconds. Hogue is yet to score. And a blocking foul, and they'll count it. Yeah, nice response. We saw in the first half, Texas A&M had a really nice response when Florida went on a run and stretched that lead out just a little bit. Right out of the timeout, DJ Hogue, who you need a little bit more from, right? And Texas A&M felt like as a freshman, DJ Hogue showed some flashes, and as a sophomore, has kind of been inconsistent. He's got so much potential, the ability to score, the ability to knock down the three-point shot. And what I love the most about that play there is what I think he needs to do more of, and that's be aggressive, attack. Utilize the length and the size advantage you have a lot of times when you're playing on the perimeter by getting in the paint and finishing. You talked about A&M's lack of depth. Those are the first points from the Aggie bench today. Chiozza will penetrate and dish in the jam. His vision is incredible. Hogue off the curl. Aggies need a stop. They don't get it. There's a follow by Tyler Davis. Gators have made all 6 of their last 6 field goal attempts. Berry trying to step through, and he'll go to the line. Crisp ball movement.
Their offense has gotten into a nice rhythm against the zone. You look at this ball movement. Chris Chiozza, the point guard, finding an alley right there to Devin Robinson, and he finishes strong.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Wendy's, proud sponsor of the 2017 John R. Wooden Player of the Year.
What would it take to get you out on one of those?
You don't have enough. You do not have whatever you're offering. You do not have enough.
Tom Hart, Kara Lawson. This has been a fun one. It's a 6-point lead for number 17 Florida. 3-way tie, first place in the SEC, along with South Carolina and Kentucky. Canyon Berry at the free throw line. He's made 37 in a row. And as far as the record keeping is concerned, that would be a new school record for Florida. It works. He's got a dozen. Gators have scored in the last 9 possessions to open up an 8-point advantage. Shot clock at 5. Great defense by Berry, and he gets a piece of it. They got to throw it up. And a shot clock violation.
You see when Florida turns it up on the defensive end. I mean, it is hard. Not just to get a shot up at the basket. I mean, it's difficult when they turn it on. That's what makes me like this team so much moving forward. They've got obviously a great chance to win an SEC regular season. Currently a 3-way tie atop of this conference.
Berry found Chiozza cutting to the hoop. And Gilder commits his 3rd. Mike White has been preaching defensive effort all season. Here's his reaction to Canyon Berry's block.
Intense, excited. When you look at Florida and their resume, I mean, their only losses out of conference. Gonzaga, how are they this year? Are they pretty good?
Haven't lost.
Duke had a little rough patch, but in the beginning they were good, and now they're good. And Florida State,
One of the best starts ever in Florida State history. BPI of 5, RPI of 8. Lenardi has him as a 4 seed. The committee today has him as a 3 seed. 5 top 50 wins.
I do like their spot as a 3.
I think they're deserving of that.
I do. Yep. Today.
Chiozza trying to fight through the screen. Here's Hogue. The bounce low and a reverse won't go. But it'll put Tyler Davis, a sophomore from Plano West High School in Texas, at the free throw.
Navigating the ball screen, that's hard to do. To get through that a couple times. Nice recognition by Chris Chiozza. You know, so many of the little things that Florida does well defensively that might not pop off the page. I mean, what pops off is Egluni blocking a shot against the backboard, right? Or Kayvon Allen stripping a point guard in the open court. But I've been really impressed with Florida defensively. They're off-the-ball defenders being active and engaged. On the ball, being able to navigate through screens. They're smart with their switches when they need to be.
Ball will stay with A&M. Where does it come from? You know, we had a funny chat with Jim Boeheim a week ago. He was talking about their defense struggling. We asked about his zone and having new players within the zone, and he said simply, hey, listen, if you can't play defense, you can't play defense, zone, man, or otherwise. So does it start with the player, or does it start with the coaches?
Well, I disagree with Jim Boeheim to a certain extent. Like, I think you can learn defense, but part of it is inherent in terms of your ability to work and your desire to want to play hard. And some of that, you can't teach. But I know players that have gotten better over a course of time, especially within a team framework as defenders.
They converge on Egbunu, but foul him and will send him to the free throw line.
In fact, you're sitting next to one.
See, I think of you as a shooter. Because when you got to the gym the other day...
You don't know my game, man.
You got to the gym the other day, you got a ball off the rack and you started shooting.
Right. I'm not saying I was a defensive stopper.
You got better.
What I'm saying was I had the ability to improve and get better within the team framework.
I have a feeling that playing for Pat Summitt, she wasn't going to allow you to not improve.
No, you wouldn't see the court. I mean, you're forced to improve by, we're all forced to improve by many ways in life. Some of it is not our own decision. Okay. Okay.
So what was the difference for you in improving your defensive play? Was it simply learning the effort that you had to put forth?
There's a lot of things. It was, yes, learning the effort first. It was getting in better shape, getting in better condition to be able to play harder, longer. It was watching film and understanding of schemes and players and scout and know what their tendencies were. That felt like it was giving me the answers to tests. I knew what a player was going to do or would try to do before they would do it.
Oh, that'll be goaltending. Kind of sounded like a coach there for the last few minutes.
Well, it's just, you can improve. It's just a matter of, you know, do you want to put the time in? Physically to your body, do you want to put the time in mentally with the scheme that you're trying to run and what the other team is trying to run? It takes work, but you certainly can do it. Texas A&M with the 1-3-1 here, trying to, again, just disrupt the rhythm of Florida offensively.
One other aspect of play, I think, with this Florida team is you've got Chris Chiozza coming off the bench, which means in any given day in practice, he's wearing a gray jersey and going against the starters in a blue jersey, which means Casey Hill gets hounded every day by a great defender, and Chiozza, the same thing when he has the ball.
That's an excellent point, and that's where having great depth really can help your team improve through the course of the season, because in practice, every guy on Florida's team is going after a solid contributor.
They've turned the Aggies over 19 times today. As Chiozza commits the foul. His first. Think how good Chiozza is defensively, and that's his first foul.
You know, Chiozza is a guy that's really turned it on the last couple weeks. I mean, you see some of these gaudy numbers, a triple-double, 9 points, or I'm sorry, 9 rebounds, 9 assists versus Kentucky. He hasn't been putting up these numbers all year long, but he's found his stride recently.
He had a heart-to-heart with his coach, Mike White, a couple weeks ago, and said, I'm all yours. I'll do whatever the team needs me to do. Follow no. And Bruner's got it. Here's Leon. Follows his miss and finger rolls it. Gilder. Nope. Oh, my. Robert Williams says we're still here. He's got 16. The lead is 7 with 3:40 to go. Aggies late to get in their defense. Chiozza makes him pay. It's a 10-point advantage for the first-place Florida Gators.
Knocking down the three-point shot all game long was Leon, but then he's opportunistic there with the offensive rebound. Gators stretching it out.
Alongside LaFonso Ellis, I'm Adnan Burke, updating you on Kansas State and West Virginia. Javon Carter here, Fonz.
Ooh, what a six-step back. Oh, my gosh.
That game's over on ESPN as West Virginia has now opened it up, 14-point lead. And coming up next, we got Quentin Snyder and Louisville.
Yeah, Donovan Mitchell, 19 points per game in Quentin Snyder's absence. Let's see how he plays now that he's back.
Cardinals have won 18 straight against unranked opponents. They'll be taking on the Hurricanes, Tom.
All right, thanks, Adnan. And back to full strength here in Gainesville. This is the SEC on ESPN. And let's check out the kicks. Let's get down to the yin and the yang of it. This was first half for Adam Gilder.
We got two black shoes, like the black on black, and we switched. We got 1 and 1. What happened?
Hopefully the same models at least.
Doesn't look like it.
They're driving around in mismatched tires. What we got here? We got an over and back on a ball that was seemingly tipped by Florida. A backcourt violation. And then the officials want to get after it. I mean, those are stars and stripes. It's a good look right there. Talking about the need to accessorize. You've got to coordinate. You should see my mushroom belt. They get it right here. Stay with Florida even after an official's discussion. Gators have forced 20 turnovers in this game. It's the 5th time this season they've forced 20 or more. Leon King. Hogue with the answer. His first 3, the 10-point game.
Nice passing there. That's one thing about the Texas A&M big men that I've been impressed about all season long, how unselfish they are. Tyler Davis sees a steady diet of double teams, sometimes triple teams, each night in the SEC, because teams know that he's the first player that they're going to go to on the block. There's not a ton of outside shooting for Texas A&M in the backcourt, and so they double him. Great job, and Hogue comes through with a big shot. Now if you're Billy Kennedy, you're just trying to find a way to carve out enough stops to give yourself an opportunity to get back in this one.
Chris Chiozza's been on an incredible run lately. You mentioned the triple-double that he had against Missouri, only the 3rd triple-double in school history, 12, 12, and 10 assists. It was the first triple-double in men's college basketball by a player coming off the bench in 9 years. Speaking of the bench, Florida's outscored A&M's bench 25-6. Egbunu. And we got a whistle. Speaking of triple doubles, NBA Saturday Prime Time begins with NBA Countdown at 8 o'clock Eastern. Presented by Verizon Wireless and ABC. The Warriors in OKC for a showdown with the Thunder. Coverage tips with NBA Countdown. Presented by Straight Talk Wireless. Also streaming live on the ESPN app and watch ESPN. Golden State 44-8 going into that one. Double-double for Egbunu. Florida in a 3-way tie for first right now at halftime in Tuscaloosa. Kentucky's up 9 at the break at Coleman Coliseum against Avery Johnson's Crimson Tide. Alabama comes from behind in that one. Not only did they knock Kentucky out of first, they probably put themselves on the bubble. If not in. Here's Hogue. Gets the screen, left it short, and A&M's offense has been short here late in the second half. Chiozza whips it to Barry, and he wisely passes the open shot. Very similar today, based on what we saw Tuesday from Florida. Able to put the clamps down late in the second half. They did it against Georgia, and they're doing it against A&M. They use every second of the shot clock. They can't get the putback. Nice touch. Williams has 18, tying his career high. Double-double for Williams. Keep an eye on Allen. Only 1 foot over. In the clear. Right. Gotta take the ball with you. What about the job Mike White has done in this Florida program in 2 years?
He's picked up. I mean, no, let's not mistake. He was left the program in pretty good hands from Billy Donovan, a program that had become the second best program in the SEC, and for a stretch there, the best program in the SEC. It's 2 national titles, 06 and 07. Mike White has picked up where Billy Donovan has left off, which did not make the tournament, NCAA tournament, a season ago, but the Gators will be in the field this year. It will also be the first time that Mike White has led a team as a head coach into the NCAA tournament. He's been to the postseason, been to the NIT, been an NIT quarterfinalist multiple times.
He lived in 14 different states growing up as a son of an athletics director. And what he told us the other day blew my mind. His parents, over the last 7 moves, have built the exact same house 7 different times. He said, so I go to high school in Louisiana, and I'm going back to the same house. It doesn't make up for the fact that once they moved to Tempe, that I'm not in the same neighborhood. My friends aren't there, but I know where my room is. I know where every closet is. I know where the cutlery is kept. The same house, 7 straight moves.
I think that's a good idea if you can pull it off. You know where everything is.
I mean, listen, with practical. The repetition, they got a great buy on those blueprints the first time around, right?
Yeah, just keep using them. Got a chance to spend time with his dad, Kevin White, the athletic director at Duke. Of course, his brother, Danny White, the athletic director at University of Central Florida over in Orlando.
4-year starter at point guard for Ole Miss, and while it would be his first time coaching in the NCAA tournament, he played in 3 of them with the Rebels.
Substitution for Florida, number 1, Kevin Robinson. For Texas A&M, number 34, Tyler Davis.
Davis returns for A&M, and Hampton will take a seat. I think people are going to take note of this Florida program this season, and capable, as you've said, going on a deep run in the postseason. And Mike White's going to be a rising star in this business for years to come, it seems. Here's Davis. Lost by Allen, 1:17 remaining. Look who's got it. Florida will stay in first place in the SEC with a win here today. Awaiting finals from Kentucky at Alabama and South Carolina at Mississippi State tonight. They could be all alone in first by the time they wake up tomorrow. Beautiful feed from Hogue.
Chiozza is such a hard guy to trap, especially for the size of some of these Texas A&M defenders.
Florida's got a trip to the Plains to take on Auburn midweek. A couple of road games coming up at Auburn, then at Mississippi State, a rematch with South Carolina on February 21st here in Gainesville. Back-to-back games on the 21st and 25th against South Carolina and at Kentucky. And those games will likely decide the league. Florida turned over A&M 20 times today. Scored 20 points off those turnovers in a 10-point victory. Give or take, as Gilder hits a three. Clock stops with 14.4 left and back to the free throw line. Hogue is done. What do you think of A&M's effort today?
This is what Texas A&M is. They're a team that is limited to how they can play because they don't have a ton of experience in the backcourt. And offensively, it's hard for them to create easy opportunities for each other. There's not a ton of playmaking. And so they have to keep the score pretty low. And you go up against a Florida team and you turn it over 20 times if you're Texas A&M. I don't care. You're not going to come in here and win, giving Florida that many extra possessions.
Aggies get off one last shot. It's an air ball from Gilder, and Florida's defense, again, the story of the game. They hold the Aggies to 40% shooting, and they will be in first place as the calendar turns over tonight. 71-62 our final. For Kara Lawson, our fantastic ESPN crew, I'm Tom Hart. Time now to get you to Miami and Louisville. Mike Cousins and Corey Alexander.